Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. The first question for today comes from Eric, and it is, what do you think about having randomly generated maps in Battlefield? It would bring a new twist to the series since people couldn't camp the same spot or expect exactly what to do at the start of a round. Maybe I just don't have the vision that you have, but looking at it from every angle, from my viewpoint, I can't see this working for Battlefield, or really I find it to be almost impossible to be done correctly in basically any first-person shooter out there. When developers are sitting down to create their maps, they put a lot of thought into it. They want to ensure that it flows correctly, that it's well balanced, and that one team doesn't have a large advantage over the other. If you're on Rush and there is a large 100-meter gap that you have to cross and you're on the offensive team, this is something that the developers want to ensure doesn't happen. I mean, if that was the case and you were on the offensive team, it's going to lead to horrible gameplay. It's basically a killing field. Unless you're using a ridiculous amount of smoke grenades, there is no way that your team is going to be able to cross that 100-meter gap, and it's almost a sure win for the defensive side. These are things that the developers are thinking about and trying to design around so that these issues don't occur. The problem with a randomly generated map is that you can bet a pretty penny that these issues would pop up all over the place. Doesn't matter what game mode you're playing on, because everything is completely random. Buildings are just plopped down, objects are plopped down randomly. You're never gonna have a map that's really designed very well, and honestly, that would lead to horrible gameplay. The only way that I can see this idea maybe working in a first-person shooter is that only certain smaller objects are randomized while the core structure of the map is intact. So let's say, for example, we're playing on Siege of Shanghai. All of the buildings would be there for every single round, but then the smaller objects like the concrete barriers, those would be randomly generated and situated around the map in key locations. I guess I could see that being somewhat viable, but then it kind of begs the question, why are we doing this? Is that going to mix up the gameplay enough to make it feel like a different experience every single time, or is it going to be more of a nuisance because you can't learn the map and really master it and improve your gameplay? Not only that, but this would be terrible for the competitive scene in basically every first-person shooter. I realize that the competitive scene in Battlefield 4 is basically non-existent. It died a long time ago, and who knows how successful it's going to be in Hardline or in the next Battlefield game, but I can almost guarantee that it would die very quickly if maps were randomly generated. And so while it's definitely a very interesting concept, I mean, this would be an amazing way at increasing the longevity of every Battlefield game that launches. That would be a phenomenal way at making every Battlefield game last for an eternity. I just can't see this being feasible. Maybe a lot of you guys will disagree with me. Maybe you guys think that this is the best idea ever. But from a technical standpoint, I don't even know how DICE would be able to create a randomly generated maps that would flow well, but also from a gameplay viewpoint, I don't know if it would be all that enjoyable as well. The next question comes from AJ, and it is, what about adding spike strips into Battlefield Hardline? This could be a cop-specific gadget and could be something like a broken glass for the criminals. This could be a gadget or a battle pickup. What do you think? I want to go on a limb and say that Visceral, for a while, did have spike strips into the game, early in development. When I was talking to a few of the developers, they said that they tossed around the idea, but when they tried to add it into the game, it didn't pan out the way that they were hoping it. If you think about it from a gameplay standpoint, how would it function? Would it just do constant damage every time a car drives on over the spike strip? Is it going to be more like reality? If a car drives on over, it will disable the vehicle, allowing you to jump out of cover and taking them out with your primary weapon as they're slowly driving along in their disabled states? I think this is the biggest reason why they didn't add it into the game, because it would lead to slower combat. Hotwire is all about that fast-paced action, and while there are plenty of ways to take out the vehicles, there are plenty of gadgets to dispose of all of the cars, but if there was this spike strip gadget in the game, I can only imagine that it maybe wouldn't feel mandatory, but it would be a very popular pick because it would be an easy trap. It would disable the vehicle. That speed that is necessary for that game mode to be enjoyable would be thrown completely out the window, and I think it's for that very reason why they eliminate it from the game. It's cool on concept because who wouldn't want to set up traps, but I think simply because there are numerous other ways to take out these vehicles, that was the biggest reason why they did eliminate it from the game. The next question for today comes from Tommy, and it is, what do you think about the frequency of the Battlefield Hardline secret reload Easter eggs? Right now, we don't get to see them a lot because the chance of activating them is so small. I think it would be great to have them activate more frequently. I am right there with you. I love the fact that there are these Easter egg animations in the game. Like the first time I saw a player literally reload his weapon with the Force, like the Force from Star Wars, or fling around his revolver at Mach 5 and then fling shells into the different revolver slots, I was sold. I mean, I love that concept of an Easter egg instead of just having things scattered around the map that you have to explore. It's like, no, they're gonna be a part of the game, and if you're lucky enough, really lucky, I think there's a 1 in 10,000 chance you're gonna see one of these really rare reloads. The issue that I have with it, or not really an issue, is that they're very rare. And I understand that they need to be rare, or they wouldn't be Easter eggs, but I would love if there was some way that you could make them a little bit more frequent. The idea that I had was maybe have very difficult challenges. One of the things that they are adding into the game that I'm sure many of you are aware of now are the masks. You can have like the Dino or the Wolf mask depending on what faction you're playing on, and they're gonna be very challenging to unlock. What if they also had different assignments or achievements that you could partake in that would increase the chance or likelihood that you could have one of these Easter egg reloads? If I could get the Force reload to happen more frequently, man, I would be sold on Hardline. That would be amazing. It wouldn't even have to be, you know, 1 in 10 chance. I'm talking like a 1 in 100. Even if it was that, it would still hold that uniqueness, but it would be a reward for partaking in one of these achievements. I think that would be an awesome addition into the game. But I'd like to know what you guys think about these Easter egg reloads. Do you think that they should stay ultra rare, 1 in a 10,000 chance of activating one of these animations? Or would you like there to be some way that you could have a higher chance of seeing this in game? Let me know down below. The next question comes from Elliot, and it is, what do you think about adding an end of the round news report in Hardline? In the beta we had at the start of the round, so it would make sense to have one at the end and have it change depending on who won the round. I love this idea. I've always been a fan of the way that they handled it back in Bad Company 2, where there was this little mini movie. I mean, not really a movie, it was like a 10-second clip where something cool happened that just solidified that your team won or lost. I love that about it. It wasn't anything crazy, it wasn't anything extravagant or anything like that, but it was just a nice, subtle polish that I've always enjoyed about the Bad Company series. And so if Visceral ever decided to do something along these lines, count me as a happy camper, because I just love that end polish that the Bad Company series had. Even if they just wanted to have some little voice acting like they do at the start of the round, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but if it just was slightly different if you were on the criminal side or if you were on the cop side, and also changed on what map and game mode you were playing, if it just was slightly different and had that little polish at the end, that would be the cherry on top. The problem that we run into, though, is that this would require more development time and in turn would cost Visceral more money to create. It's not necessary. Like, this seriously is polished. This has no impact on the gameplay, and if they want to create a voice acting end slate, well, then they're going to have to hire some voice actors. They're going to have to write the script. Someone has to write the scripts. If they want to have a 5-second end screen animation, then they're going to have someone create those animations, create those set pieces, and all that takes time and money. And so while I love the idea, I was always a fan of it back in Bad Company 2, simply because this is just the cherry on top, this would just be further polish. I don't know if Visceral is going to want to take the time or investment. It probably couldn't even do it at this stage since we're so close to release. I just don't know if they would want to go down that route because, of course, it would cost more money and it has no impact on the gameplay. And so, awesome idea. I just wouldn't expect it for Battlefield Hardline. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.